Hey, and welcome to the Systems Boutique podcast. I'm Dr. Raymona H. Lawrence. Most people just simply call me Dr. Raymona. I'm your systems stylist and your business operations expert, and I'm here to help you build a high-end boutique-style back-end that creates ease and scalability for you without sacrificing the luxury experience your clients absolutely deserve. So if you're a speaker, a coach, a consultant, a course creator, or author who's ready to stop the overwhelm, ditch the tech confusion, and finally streamline your systems and operations, you are in the right place. Each week, I'll bring you actionable strategies, expert insights, and behind-the-scenes business systems and operations insights to help you scale with ease, efficiency, and absolute excellence. So grab your notebook, your favorite cup of coffee or tea, and let's get to work. Welcome to the Systems Boutique, where systems meet style. I am so excited to be here with you today. And who am I bringing into the boutique? It is all of our boutique's executive coaches. You all do not understand how excited I am to introduce you to these brilliant minds who have come together to serve you in the Systems Boutique. And so let's just start there. I'm going to go around and we're going to talk about who is in this room right now, and then we'll jump into our questions. So, Coach Carlos, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Thank you. Well, I'm super excited to be a part of this team. My name is Carlos J. Malabe. I'm a curriculum coach and curriculum specialist. I've been doing this for over a decade within schools, where I'm implementing and helping schools with systems through curriculum, how to align it to standards and how to hit statistics and start from the basics, the ABCs, attendance, behavior, connections. So I've been doing this for a while now, and I love helping clients be able to achieve the goals of creating more impact that can last longer than 45 minutes on stage. So within my program, I help clients be able to develop curriculum, sell curriculum, design it, and be able to withstand continuing the work of helping organizations grow through curriculum.
Love it. Welcome. We are so excited to have you in the boutique, and I love just all of the things that you do with curriculum. And it's going to be such a blessing to everyone who you come in contact with. So thank you for being here. Coach Arleta.
Hey. Coach Arleta Allen here. I am a professional speaker, dynamic speaker, if you will. I like to really hone in on my ability to be authentic and to show up as myself. I teach other individuals not only how to defy the odds in their professional careers, but how to defy the odds in their personal lives as well. And so I take a foundational principle, which is called the Anchor Advantage, and I share with them the 8 principles that you need to have effective in your speaking career in order for you to become a great success. And so everyone has a story, but I have the ability to pull that story out, extract it, and make it a signature story.
Love it. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to be so excited to see all of the dynamic speakers that you helped to develop in the boutique. And so it's great for you to be here. Thank you. All right, Coach Gio.
Hello. This is Coach Gio Doris. I am the founder of a program called First Book Done, and I go by the Book Doula. So what I do is I help non-writers birth their first book. So whether they're speakers, thought leaders, and people who are entrepreneurs, I literally help you to write a book that connects and that is positioned to sell so that you have the positioning that you would like to have in the marketplace.
I love this, the Book Doula. Come on, that is just... And we're all birthing things, right? We're birthing our dreams, our visions, our plans, all of those things. And so to have somebody who just understands that process of, what it takes to move all of that into fruition is so wonderful to have in the boutique. So welcome to all of our executive coaches. These individuals are going to be here to ensure that you all are equipped with every piece of the system that you need. And one thing about me is that I read in 2024 this book called It's the Who, Not the How. And so I was committed to bringing in the who's because I don't know everything. I don't want to know everything. I want to bring in great people that surround me, that support the people that are in the Systems Boutique. And so I'm so excited to have you all with your expertise so I can focus on the systems and all of the techie stuff that a lot of people don't care about as much as I do. So welcome. So let's get into our first question, and that is, what is your personal style? So, Coach Arleta, I am going to go to you first because I really love your style. And so I've got to hear about this. What is your personal style?
Let's see. Personal style. I'm a fashionista. I absolutely am stylish. I'm very, very professional. I'm very concerned about my stage presence all the time. So I'm the type of gal who has to have the earrings, matching the shoes, matching the top, and all the unmentionables. Everything has to be in alignment. Everything has to, if we're wearing blush pink, everything has to be blush pink. And there are no exceptions.
Okay.
But yes, definitely a fashionista.
And I can absolutely see that. Everything that you do just radiates that. And so I love that about you. My style is, I always say I'm kind of modern, chic, edgy, professional, right? So I love the blazer, ripped jeans, the high heel, those types of things, yes. Or just a really nice professional blazer type look. And so I went to the doctor the other day and they were saying, you have on tennis shoes. Something's wrong. Like, you always have on heels. So I know I'm branding myself properly because even at the doctor, they know that you do not see Dr. Raymona in tennis shoes. You see her in heels.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So yeah, that's my style. Yeah. So Coach Gio, now we're here, guys. Now
mine would be fundamentally clean. So that's the mine is fundamentally clean. I like me a nice pressed shirt, some pants that's nicely pressed with some comfortable sneakers that's flat. So you won't see me in no crazy colors. You're going to see me in the black, navy blues, most of the time. But
okay.
But I'm going to be clean. I'm going to be clean. I'm going to be proper and make sure I show up and show out.
Okay. I love that. All right. Coach Carlos, tell us about you.
I love these styles. I love it. Mine, I would say authentically professional. I like to align what I do to my lifestyle. So I say this all the time. I get paid more to speak less because I facilitate. So within my engagements, I facilitate, I create movement. So I may give stories, but the stories align to an activity. So which means if I get you to move, the way to get somebody to move is to show them how to move. So I get up and do the activity. So I like to be comfortable, authentic, and professional. So you might see me with a blazer. You might see me some sneakers sometimes, the shoes, something that is comfortable where I can move and authentically be myself. So that's what I would say, authentically professional.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So that moves me into just thinking about how all this fits into your coaching style, right? So we all have our authentic coaching styles. We have different things that we like to do. I call this agency the Systems Boutique because I love boutiques. I love a scenario where I can go into a business. It's just me and the person who's working there most of the time. It's a small environment. They fit me to exactly what I need in that particular business. They look at my style. They are ensuring that whatever they give me is authentic to me. And so I love boutique, right? Boutique style. And so that's why I call this the Systems Boutique. And so that goes over into my coaching and the things that I do with systems as well. I want to ensure that the systems that people have are the right fit, that they're seamless, right? That they're ready for the runway, that they feel authentic to them. And so for you all, your style, how does that move into how you do coaching in your business. And so I'm going to start with Coach Gio for that one.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. By the way, you definitely have embodied the boutique part for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
You got like operating hours, appointment only. But no, for me, I think it's the basics. It's the basics, not overcomplicating things. When it comes to my coaching style, I firmly believe you want to always remember who it is that you're serving. So messaging and marketing is a big thing. So who am I marketing to, and exactly how do I communicate to them is super important. And I believe that that's what separates me from a lot of people is, it's not just about writing a book. It's about what is that person holding in their hands and how is that thing communicating to them at a deep level.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah. So when you think about people and thinking about how it's connecting to them at a deep level, and so how do you pull that out of them? What are the types of things that you're doing as you're working with a client and you're thinking about, because a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, writing a book is overwhelming, right? And so as you start to think through that process, a lot of times people think, I need to come to Coach Gio with it all figured out. And I know that that's not necessarily the case. So talk a little bit about how in your coaching style you help to pull out those things that are in there.
I think most of us always have a moment in time where something turned. Like, where did the story shift? Where did the transformation take place? And let's start there. And it doesn't matter how big or small the transformation is. Change in and of itself is hard. So if there's something that in your story has created change and served as a catalyst, let's start there. And I normally would just want to get like a one-line sentence that I can then develop by asking a series of questions to then bring it into a full 4K view of whatever that situation is. I always like to compare it to like the show This Is Us, one of my favorite shows my wife and I used to watch. And there was a season where they had like 8 episodes, but it was the same event. But it was looked at from 8 different people's point of views. And so a lot of times we think like, man, I don't have enough to say. But if you think about all the characters in the story, you will be able to really write out a full story.
Yeah, I love that. It's just like, I'm going to always bring this back to the boutique. So when you think about those signature pieces, right, Coach Arleta, you have a white shirt, maybe a black shirt. There's something that goes with everything. And when you think about the different ways that you can mix it up and put it together, you can create tons of outfits. And so it sounds like that type of thing that you're saying is that it's not just one way that I can look at this thing. I've got all these perspectives. Now I can write a whole book because I'm looking at all of these different angles.
100%. If you figure out that cornerstone, and you funny you said this signature piece. Like I literally bought my wife 3 persons for Christmas: black, cream, and like some brown, so that she always has a bag that can go with anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Coach Arleta, so following up with that, how does your style go into your coaching?
I think having the foundation of authenticity is huge for me. And it becomes huge for those who haven't discovered the truth of who they really are. I said in my coaching, I like to get to the why. The why is always so very important to me because if you come to me and you say, I have a story, I'm not sure how to articulate my story or articulate the value that I house, why do you want the world to know your story? Why is this important to you? And being okay with learning how to listen and listen well. I think as coaches, sometimes we play double dutch with our clients and we try to jump in there. And if we learn how to sit and listen intentionally, right? I believe that the client themselves, they share with us what it is that they've been holding. They just didn't know that they had it. So my gift is in extracting the gold. My gift is in taking what you overlooked and what you didn't see and gift wrapping it in a way where it becomes medicine to the soul for the world. And so many of the clients that come to me have no idea that they even have a signature talk on the inside of them, and that there's a way that makes it expressly different for them, because they are unique, and their background and their frame of reference is, everything about them is unique, and there's only one them. And I think the celebratory thing that really came into play with me for how I handle my clients, in which I consider them family, how I handle the people that work with me are a godsend. Number one, I don't mishandle people, because people belong to God first and foremost. And so I would never mishandle what belongs to God. And I keep it that way. And so with that being said, there's someone waiting on the message that they're carrying. So it gets a little bit deeper than you just want to share your story. There's someone in pain up the road. They're sitting there. They're sitting on the side of the road. They're shivering in the cold. They're in chains. And only you have the key to unlock that. What will you do with what you carry? So I create depth to their story and their understanding for what they're carrying. Being a TEDx authenticity expert and sharing my story live from the TEDx stage, it really opened my understanding of why I suffered in normative conformity, why I spent so many years trying to be what everybody else wanted me to be and never tapped into the truth of who I was. But once I discovered who she was, I promised myself I would never let her go. And so being authentically amplified through my services is how I extract the gold from each client that sits in my chair.
You just said so much. I mean, that was so good. This idea of sitting with it, I think that is something that we all struggle with, because in this world, it's like, you got to go, you got to move fast, you got to be doing this thing so you can have it on Instagram to show your success. You know, all of that is just this microwave type of society that we live in. And it's hard for people to sit with things, right? Because it's like, I need to move fast so I can get to the next stage. And often we try to skip the steps. And I always say this quote by Christine Kane, and she said that if the light is in you is not greater than the light that's on you, then success will crush you, right? And so that's something that is near and dear to me, and how I really coach people is saying, it is not what you have to do, it's what you have to be. Right? You're a human being, not a human doing. And so we skip past that because we don't want to sit in stuff, because it brings up a lot of stuff sometimes, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm. So Coach Carlos, your style, how does it translate into how you coach?
Absolutely. And it's crazy that you said translate, because my program is called Curriculum Translation Program. My first book was Translating Your Success. So everything has been the translation. I think my perspective is from the educator perspective. I've been in education for over a decade, taught all different subjects, implemented a bunch of stuff, and worked at different capacities at different levels. And I think as an educator, you learn very quickly that kids can smell fake from a mile away. You can only go so far with you not being authentically yourself. And ironically, as an educator, you're taught to be an actor until you have certain particular life experiences that make you who you are, and accept who you are, and stand in that truth within those classrooms and those spaces. So having that all in mind, that experience, I come into my coaching style trying to meet you where you're at and have that empathy, no matter where you're at, right? And try to pull those things out of you to make you create something that you can speak about on different levels, right? Because you're giving a resource to an organization, right? That they're going to continue to work on themselves, right? And you are going to come in and redefine and support that. So if you can't talk about it on a deeper level, it's going to be very hard for you to continue to work with these organizations. And that's what I do best, right? I lean into like this whole work with my curriculum was in restorative practices. So I called it restorative power, because it's not something that you could do within the confines of 6 to 8 hours a day. You have to live it, breathe it, eat it, become it, right? And within the school, I was doing the work with the students and all that. But my father was a product of the school to prison pipeline, right? My father committed suicide in 2019, right? So like had a lot of experiences to make me have to do the work that I was presenting in schools with my wife, with my child, with my friends, right? And I'm continuously doing this. So it's all about alignment and being able to become that person that you can support whatever aspect you're supporting an organization with and whatever problems you're trying to solve, that you are that, right? You amplify that. You are those solutions because you're living it every single day. So when I'm coaching someone, I help them get to that place to create a resource that they can continue to work with an organization because they know the work on a deeper level.
And I love the depth of all of the coaches that we have in the boutique, because a lot of times people just do things on the surface and then they go out and serve people, and people are burned by coaches often because there's nothing that they actually get out of it. They don't get the translation, the transformation, that doula pulling things out of them, that person that gives them that why and that says, hey, this is not just about you being cute up on the stage. There is a person that is hurting and dying and waiting on you. This message, right? On you. So get over yourself so that we can make an impact on the people you're supposed to be touching, right? And so I absolutely love that about each of you, and these things that you have brought out even more than in the conversations that we've had, even in the past. I just love learning more and talking to you all. And so one of the things that I really want to avoid is mistakes that people make is with systems and the different things that they're trying to do in their businesses. So we've gone through a lot. We've done a lot. We've made the mistakes, and we're here to help other people to avoid it as much as possible. Not all things. Some things you have to experience. But so I want to think about some of the mistakes that you see that people are making, what I call the fashion faux pas, right? What are these things that you see people in your industry that are doing that are mistakes, or maybe just not, we might not call it a mistake, everybody's different, but something that they're not necessarily doing that moves the needle in your particular industry. And so, Coach Carlos, let's start with you on that this time. And everybody just jump in whenever you want to. This is
I think the biggest mistake that people make in this industry, I think it's just quick to create something and not taking the time to build it out right. They want to, they see, for example, they see all the people that I've worked with, and I've helped people make over $1 million in sales of curriculum. Right. So once they see that, they're like, oh my God, I need a curriculum. But they're not willing to put the work in to actually build it out right. Right. So they can completely understand it to a T and be able to walk into a classroom and teach it that looks familiar to a educator that's been there for years. Right. That takes time. That's understanding, right? To take your content and put it into a classroom setting where the kids are getting stories, getting activities, getting things that go well within a classroom setting for 45 to 60 minutes, sometimes 90 minutes, right? So taking the time to actually understand the intricacies of what a classroom looks like, how to make the teacher's job easier, because everybody thinks a curriculum is just for the students. Honestly, the curriculum is for the teachers to be able to make their job easier. And when you make their job easier, there's the money, because there's money for teacher professional development, right? And tapping into that aspect will help you get resources for students and continue to be able to problem solve in more than one area. So being able to take the time, not just have resources, but have resources that you can really dive deep into the content with to support these people that are using your materials. So do not rush, take your time, do it right, and understand it so that you can actually support. You're not going to make these big sales if you're not, like I said before, living it, breathing it, eating it, doing it. It becomes a part of your lifestyle. It becomes easy to teach because you're doing it on a consistent basis.
That's good. And I think that we could all say that as part of each one of these industries is that people just jump to things. And that's what I was talking about earlier, right? Is that we live in this microwave type society where we want to just have things quick. We want to have the result, but then there's no impact. So something has happened but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing that has happened. There's just a result, and it's not what we wanted. And so I love that. I think that is paramount to the work that we do, is taking your time and not just jumping into things, because back to Coach Arleta, somebody's life is on the line with everything that we're doing, right?
Coach Carlos, like, are you going to take my entire statement though? I mean, I had something very, very, profound that I was going to say. You jumped in there before I did. No, to bring that back around, people believe the hype. That is like the number one trend that I see amongst most of my clients, is that they come in believing the hype that they see on social media. They see the big stages, they see the 20,000 people crowds, and they automatically think, I'm going to be there in a day. And if I told you that I have a 14-year career and I just started making like the real revenue 7 years ago. So the first 8 years I spent the block. For the first 8 years, I was stagnant. For the first 8 years, I was knocking on doors that I had no business knocking on. For the first 8 years, I did all the things wrong. And so the reason why you need a coach is because they help to cut the learning curve. They cut back on some of those years, so you don't have to spend 8 years, spinning in the same area like I did. Stop believing the hype. If you want anything to happen in your life, there is a process to it. No one gets a chance to go straight from A to Z. There's a whole lot, there's 24 other alphabet in between, and we got to reach those. And so one of the greatest things that I help my clients with is foundational principles. If you're going to become that great speaker, if you're going to be the next Les Brown or be the next Tony Robbins, if you're going to be them and you aspire to be like them, they endured some things. And it's beyond the private jet, the limousines, the nice hotels, and the big crowds that you see screaming their names. You don't know the price that they paid to get there. Yeah. And there's always a story behind greatness. And so I help them to define those 8 principles that they need in order to build out a sustainable career as a public speaker. You need to have certain things in place in order to sustain it, because it's one thing to obtain it. You can land one speaking gig being paid $10,000 to be on the stage for 1 hour. You can land it, but how do you sustain it? How do you continuously land gig after gig after gig after gig, where you become the asset that everyone is searching for, the highly sought after speaker? Because no one wants to be borderline anything. We always want to be exceedingly abundantly above, And so if that is your desire and that's what you want to see happen in your career, you're going to have to do the work, and you're going to have to put this process into work, lay the proper foundation from your authenticity to knowing your audience, to receiving accountability, to understanding your authority from the stage, to your appearance from the stage, to automation and systems that it takes to be able to run a sustainable business, because a speaking business is a business. It's not just you looking cute from stage. It's not just impact. It's not just influence, but it's also income. It's something most of us, it's our living. It's our sustainability. It's our livelihood. So you got to treat it as such. You got to put in work. And so that's the thing I think that kind of separates not only the style or understanding what type of, what speakers are looking for, but you got to not neglect the process. And I think Carlos said it better than me, but I thought I'd reiterate.
That was good. That was good.
That was perfect. I was just sitting back like, preach.
No, that was so good. No, man. But I think it goes back to what I love what everybody's saying, because we're all speaking this. We're like speaking the same exact thing. And I think when you talk about mistakes, a lot of people, because of the ads that we see on social media, we want 10x, 20x, 4x ROAS, all these different things. And I always go back to the biggest mistake is X never had a value, but you want 10 of it. Right? So you want a 10x, but X is 0. So you can understand, like, having something as much as a mustard seed, if I got 0.1, then let's amplify it, let's scale. But a lot of people want to scale without having substance yet. And so I think it goes in alignment with everybody's saying, is we gotta make sure we have something. And I think too many times what happens is when you feel like you have nothing, you feel like you gotta have 10x to kind of make it even. And it's like, no, listen, I understand your past is your past. You're trying to work towards the future, but you really got to do the work in the present and be here where your feet are to really be able to go and enjoy and sustain, like Coach Arleta said, to sustain that level of success, because the climb was hard, but the fall is even harder.
Bars.
That was
The man came through with the bar.
Yeah, for a minute.
Right.
I should have went last. This guy.
That's my post for today, Coach Arleta.
That was too good.
So, but I want to stay on this because I talk about systems, and, we think about book systems, speaking systems, curriculum systems, all of those types of things. And people don't want to put those types of things in place. They want to say, I'm just going to go out here and it's just going to happen. I'm not going to think about these systems or the things that I need to be doing. And it's such a detriment that we don't like process. So that's what I want to talk about, this idea of process. Because I did a video about this the other day. We love the beginning of a thing and we love the end of a thing. But those 24 letters, Coach Arleta, in the middle, the 24 letters in the middle is where most people have their downfall, right?
Yes.
We can post about it and we say, oh, here's what I'm about to do. But I tell my daughter all the time, process comes with pressure. Process comes with pressure. And a lot of times when people start the process, it's great. But when the pressure comes, they think they're doing the wrong thing. Let's talk about a doula, Coach Gio. The pressure that happens when you're about to birth something is the worst
100%,
part.
100%.
Listen, but that doesn't mean that you're in the wrong thing. Like, okay, let me stop birthing the baby because there's so much pressure and I just am not going to do it anymore. If we did that, we would never have children, right? We would never birth anything. So let's talk about it. Let's stay on this a minute. This idea of process. How do you all stay in the process? How do you help your clients to stay in the process until they actually get past that point of pressure and actually birth a thing?
When you were speaking, like, I had to write it down, because when you said the 24 letters, I said, Dr. Raymona, you just wrote a book just now on this process with 24 letters. Like, I'm like, this joint is amazing. Like, that was really good. But
okay, now don't steal that one. Now I'm going to use that one. I'm gonna write
that book together. Like that. Okay. That one was really good. That one was really good.
Make sure y'all
yeah, I was about to say we have to give Coach Arleta credit.
No, that was good. I think the biggest thing with the process is process requires perspective. Like, without perspective, you have to have an understanding that there's pruning that's taking place, that there's things being cut off, there's space being created that needs to be filled. If I'm not aware of what's happening, then it's hard for me to go and say, hey, here's what's going to happen later that you're going to be able to enjoy. So one of the things when it comes to coaching is letting them understand, hey, listen, I know you're frustrated right now, but guess what? This is a seed for growth. This is something you're going to eat from later on. We're planting right now. And I think when you tell people, I think that's the beauty of a coach, is the coach is able to look at it and know where you're going and know where you were and understand where you're at right now and speak to all of them. And I think that's where the client is missing. They don't have the foresight to say, oh, you mean like this failure? Or when, Dr. Carletta might say, hey, go on that stage and speak. And they might feel like, no, but I'm going to bomb. But you don't realize I needed you to emotionally feel the pressure of you being on the stage to understand that this is not just play, right? Like, so there's different levels of that a coach can provide.
I love that. I think, and Gio, we work together. Dr. Raymona, we work together. My whole process is about like getting to the work. When I do my stuff, we share screen and we get to the work. And I think the process is, I enjoy people getting it, that aha moment, right? Because they have so many thoughts in your head, but being able to break it down in the most simplistic form, right? To stretch it and not have to put so much into the first lesson, right? Take a concept and be able to break it down. Like Gio said before, one of my favorite shows too is This Is Us, because it's different perspectives. You're seeing the same event from different lenses, right? You have to do that as a curriculum developer, right? Because you have to be able to see it from the kid that has a learning disability. You have to see it from the kid that doesn't like school, the kid that loves school. How do you connect with all these different personalities in the classroom and give them time to get it on their own? So how do you create, like, take your concepts, right? Your speaking topics, right? And be able to break it down in formats that can engage or give one of those students a moment where they're like, oh, like I got up and did it. It makes sense now. Or I got it when he said that quote, or she said that quote, or I got it when I saw that video. It all makes sense, right? So being able to take that, the processing of understanding concepts and being able to see it from different lenses and break it down, I love that part. So I think it's very important to take your time. Like I said before, if you do not take your time, you're not going to create a resource that's going to hit, right? Because what you need to do within curriculum is become relatable. If you're going into these spaces with people that went to school for this, that they did this for years, and you don't understand what their life looks like in those four walls, you're going to be lost. You're going to lose them immediately. So positioning yourself to be able to become relatable to them, understand their language, understand their lifestyle, understand their work, right? You have to be able to do the process in between to know your material and break it down into a kindergarten class, into a middle school class, into a high school class, into a college class, into a corporate setting. That is what I do very well, is be able to take those concepts to break it down and understand your material very well so that you can move forward and continue to work on a deeper level.
Yeah, and it's like this, like I said before, this idea of a stylist and a personal stylist. It's like, what does this person need? I don't want to put tennis shoes on a person that wears heels all the time, or vice versa. They would hate it, right? And so those types of things are important for us to gain the nuances of individuals, and then think about, how do we now translate that to a group of people, right? Because we have different people that have different styles within these large groups that we're speaking to, or we're training, or we're working with. And so how do we make sure that we are doing something that touches all of those individuals? And so I love that you said that, because I think that's such an important point. Coach Arleta?
Well, when it comes to, I believe we were talking about processes that individuals need when it comes to actually pursuing their careers. And one of the things that I often like to say is, you need someone else that you're accountable to that can see what you can't see. And I think oftentimes the reason why so many programs and things that people are seeking, they want the help, but everything's not a good fit for everyone. I found that when I was on my journey, that working in group coaching did not work well for me. I needed to have a format where it was just me and one other person, because being in a room with 125 other people and me having to vet for the expert's time was too much for me. It was overwhelming. And no matter the dollar amount that I put into the program, it wasn't being impactful for me. It wasn't getting me what I needed. And so one thing I would say about the process is, make sure you're choosing wisely who's in the trenches with you. Everybody, I don't care who you are. If you're with a coach that doesn't have a coach, that's a problem. That's a big problem, because everybody needs somebody that they're accountable to. And everybody needs to be reaching in some sort of way in order to continue their growth, because we never stop growing. We never stop educating. We never stop climbing. We never stop reaching. We never stop obtaining until this breath is gone from this body, when purpose has left, and so we have to think about it that way. This is an ongoing process, but you choose wisely who's sitting lock arm and lock step with you on the journey to get you there, and to know that it's not an overnight process, that it's going to take some time, and it's going to take your ability to be able to endure the process. Because when it gets hard, kind of like we talked about a little bit earlier, when it gets hard, it's very easy to fall out. It's very easy for the pressure to make you feel like you're doing something wrong, or that wind come in the wrong direction and you're going uphill, to think that because you're going against the grain that you're going the wrong direction. But not necessarily. Oftentimes the pressure itself is a sign that you are doing everything right. But in order for purpose to be birthed, this is what I like to say. Everybody wants to be a diamond until it's time to be cut. Listen, if you really, really want the outcome that you seek, if you want that stage with 10,000 people sitting on it where you've been paid $200,000 for 1 hour of your time, if you really, really want that, then guess what? Be ready to be cut. And it's the same thing as preparing yourself to be pruned, as Gio said earlier. You have to endure the process in order to even have anything to tell anyways. What I like to teach my clients a lot, oftentimes I teach them a magic trick. And this is what I give to every person that sits in my chair. If you're going to be this highly sought after, phenomenal expert, thought leader in the industry, I need you to learn this trick. The trick is when you hit the stage, you must learn to disappear so they see themselves. If your message cannot do that, then it's not the right message. Because see, you came to add value. You came to serve an audience, and it's not about you. You may be the one that's being used as a vessel to be able to convey the message, but the message is not about you. It's about the individual who's sitting out there who waited to hear what you have to say, the value that you had, that key in your story, that thing that unlocks the thing that's been buried and on the inside of them. That's what they're waiting for. The only way for them to receive that is for you to disappear. So how can I disappear from stage and they look up there and now all of a sudden it's them that's standing there and not me, because they see themselves in my story and it's become their own. And so that is what I hone in on. I hone in on your ability to be able to articulate your value, your ability to be able to speak confidently from stage, your ability to be yourself and to tell your story as it is, but tell it with intention in a way where people walk away changed. Give them something to do now that's going to start them on their way.
That was just so good. And I think that when we say the word stage, we can mean whatever stage you're
That's right.
on. That could be the classroom for a curriculum. That could be your book, right? That could be whatever. Yeah. And I think that is critical. Oh, say it again, Coach Arleta. It was so good. The part that you said that here's the magic trick, and let's make sure that everybody got that, because that was
the
so
trick
good.
is that to understand that you are the one coming to add value. There's somebody in that audience that needs your message that you carry. The trick is for you to disappear and for them to appear on stage in your place. Because if your story does not have the magnitude to be able to pull you out of the picture and place them in your shoes, then you did it wrong. Your message carries the beauty of being able to transcend what's happening in the room. It defies everything that's in the room, and all of a sudden, a room that has 5,000 people has 2. It's just you and them. Think of that every single time you hit the stage. There's no limit to the transformation that takes place. I learned a long time ago, it was never about me. And then even the things I had to endure, they were not for me. Yeah.
Good. Let me just take my mic and drop it on down on the floor right here. just, I'm done.
You're going
Coach Arleta just took me to church. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Coach Arleta, you took me to watch night service. I didn't go, but you took me today. That was good.
Good. That was good. That was good.
No, that's good. That's good. That was good.
That was good. That was good.
Oh my gosh. Yes, for sure. I mean, that was some good stuff. And so I think we can end it there, because that was just so good. I don't even think there's anything else I could put on it. Is there any one thing that you want to leave with the people today? These individuals, these executive coaches are your coaches in the Systems Boutique. Y'all, I'm so excited. Look at what you have as a resource in this boutique. I'm telling you, this group of people is phenomenal, and you absolutely have to tap in to all that they are. This is just going to be amazing. No hype, no fluff. I really vetted these folks. I have prayed about them. I have worked with them. I have done all the things to make sure that we pull together an absolutely dynamic team. And 100% that has happened. And so I'm so excited. Any last one word, one sentence that you want to leave with the folks today? Start with you, Coach Carlos. Anything?
No, I think this is a place to be. I remember you telling me about the idea. I'm just excited that it came to fruition, just to see this come together, these brilliant minds come together. I think we have a plethora of experience here and different ways you want to take that. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and I'm excited to see what comes of it. So I'm just excited. I have nothing else to say other than yes, we doing it.
Yes, awesome. Coach Gio.
Yeah, I think just you've embodied what this whole thing is about. I think if you take everything that Dr. Arleta, that Coach Arleta said, and talk about disappearing, I think you literally, the system boutique is like threefold. Like you could disappear from your business with systems, right? in place. And then also making sure that we're doing it from a place of value, like Coach Arleta said, to say, hey, listen, how do I make that person the superstar? Because even when it comes to like books, I always tell people, I don't read a book to know about you. I read a book to meet yourself. The greater version of it.
Wait, don't skip past that. What? Say that again.
Right. I don't read a book to know about you. I read a book to go and meet the better version of myself. And that requires someone stepping aside. Like, so again, I'm just truly grateful that you read the book Who Not How, because I'm just blessed to be around these amazing who's.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Coach Arleta, last word.
Last word is exactly that, the last word. All I can say is for the dreamers out there that you have something on the inside of you, don't waste another day not articulating the value that you house. Don't waste another day not getting on people's nerves because you offer. Don't waste another day not pursuing and going after your dreams and your goals, because you know what? Time waits for none of us. It is our greatest asset. And you're just getting a day older, a moment older, and things are just going ahead and maturing with or without your consent. So pursue with passion and with purpose, and know that this life is not your own. It is definitely for the likes of others who will join in with what you have endured, and they'll be able to overcome too because you did. And so I'm just blessed to be a part of this executive team. And thank you, Dr. Raymona, so much for having me here and being able to offer value to this platform.
Well, thank you all, and thank you all for listening to this week's episode of The Systems Boutique, and we'll see you next time. Bye. All right, my chic CEOs, that's a wrap for today's episode. If you found value in today's conversation, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with another star. That's a speaker, a teacher, an author, or a coach who absolutely needs it. And hey, if you're ready to finally get your systems together, let's chat. Head over to thesystemsboutique.com/strategy to book your systems style strategy call, where we'll map out your perfect business back end. So until next time, keep it chic, keep it systemized, and keep shining like the absolute star you are. See ya.